All right, so today we're diving deep into secure web gateways,
Mhm.
SWGs. And we know you're all pretty savvy about cybersecurity,
Right.
so we're going to skip right to the good stuff. Okay, so get this.
Good.
A mid-sized company's SWG, it can process the equivalent data of the entire Library of Congress
Wow.
every single day. It's mind-blowing.
That's a lot of data.
So whether you are prepping for that big meeting, or just, curious about the digital world, we're going to make sure you're up to speed on what is protecting us online.
It's not just about the volume of data. It's about analyzing it all in real time to find the threats hidden in that web traffic.
So let's break it down. What actually is an SWG? Our
Yeah.
source defines it as the first line of defense against web-based threats. But it's not just a simple firewall.
No, not at all. A basic firewall might just block certain IP addresses or ports. An SWG goes deeper, inspecting the actual content of that web traffic at the application level.
So we're talking URL filtering,
Yeah.
application control, sniffing out that malicious code before it even downloads,
Mhm.
and preventing those oops moments where sensitive data accidentally gets sent out. So
Exactly.
it's like a super-powered bouncer for your network,
Right.
making sure only the good stuff gets in and keeping the riffraff out.
That's a great way to put it.
But what about all of this working remotely these days? Does this even apply if I'm not at a traditional office?
That's a great question. And that's actually where SWGs become even more critical. Think about it. You're working from a coffee shop, connected to public Wi-Fi. That's like a hacker's dream.
Oh, yeah.
But an SWG, it can protect your connection no matter where you are. It's like having a security detail that follows you everywhere, making sure that data is safe, whether you're at your desk or on the go.
That's a pretty powerful image, a
Eh,
personal security detail in the digital world. Okay, so we've got this super smart bouncer, but how does it actually work to keep us safe?
One of the most impressive features is real-time traffic inspection. So imagine, you accidentally click a link. Seems legitimate, but it's actually a phishing site. The SWG can analyze that link, recognize the threat based on its constantly updated threat database, and block it before any damage is done.
So it's not just reacting to known threats, it's actively predicting and preventing them.
Exactly.
That's incredible. And I bet that real-time analysis comes in handy for things like, say, preventing malware downloads.
Absolutely. An SWG can identify and block the download of malicious files, even if they're disguised as something harmless. It can also use a technique called sandboxing to analyze suspicious files in a safe, isolated environment.
Okay, sandboxing. That one always sounded kind of mysterious to me. Break it down. What's actually happening in that virtual sandbox?
Imagine a virtual test lab where suspicious files are detonated safely. So instead of letting a potentially harmful file loose on your network, the SWG spins up a virtual environment, a sandbox, and runs the file there. If it starts doing shady things, like trying to contact known bad servers or encrypting files, the SWG knows it's malicious and can block it from ever reaching your actual computer.
So it's like having a bomb squad that can safely disarm any potential threats
Yeah.
before they can cause any damage.
Mm.
And that level of protection is essential, especially with the increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks we're seeing these days.
You're right. The threat landscape is constantly evolving. Hackers are getting more creative, embedding threats in places you'd least expect. They're even creating seemingly legitimate websites
Yeah.
that are actually designed to steal your data.
It's like a digital wolf in sheep's clothing. You think you're clicking on a harmless link, but you're actually walking right into a trap.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground already. Real-time analysis, malware protection, that incredible sandboxing feature. But what about data loss prevention? How does an SWG fit into that puzzle?
Think about all the sensitive data we handle daily. Social security numbers, financial information, confidential documents. An SWG can be configured to scan outgoing data for these sensitive elements and block transmission if it violates company policy or seems suspicious.
So it's not just about keeping bad things out, it's about preventing important things from accidentally or intentionally leaking out.
Absolutely. Data loss prevention, or DLP, is a critical aspect of SWG functionality. It's like having a security guard at the exit, making sure no one is sneaking out with sensitive information.
And it's especially important with the rise of remote work and cloud collaboration, where data is constantly flowing in and out of various devices and locations.
Exactly. It's more vital than ever to have a system in place that can monitor and control that flow of data, ensuring that it remains secure no matter where it travels.
Okay, so we've got this incredible multi-tool that can analyze traffic, block malware, sandbox suspicious files, and even prevents data loss. But I've heard the term URL filtering thrown around a lot. Is that just another piece of the SWG puzzle?
It is. Remember that massive database of known bad sites I mentioned? URL filtering is basically using that database to block access to known malicious websites. Think phishing sites, sites hosting malware, or even just sites that are deemed inappropriate for the workplace.
So it's like having a built-in web filter that's constantly updated with the latest threats.
Exactly.
That's pretty handy.
It is, and it can be customized to align with specific organizational policies. For example, you can block access to social media sites during work hours, or restrict access to certain categories of content.
So it's not just about blocking the obviously bad stuff, it's about tailoring access based on individual needs and company policies.
Right.
It's a lot of control.
And that control is essential in today's world,
Yeah.
where cyber threats are becoming increasingly sophisticated, and SWG provides that extra layer of protection, ensuring that your network and data remain safe, no matter what challenges you face.
And speaking of challenges, our source mentions Secure Access Service Edge, or SANS. It sounds like SWGs are often part of a bigger security picture.
Yes. SASE is a comprehensive approach to cybersecurity that integrates multiple security solutions into a single cloud-delivered platform.
So it's like having a whole team of cybersecurity experts working together to protect your digital assets.
That's a great analogy.
And SWGs are a key member of that team,
They are.
working in concert with other solutions like Firewall as a Service, FYS, Cloud Access Security Broker, CASB, Zero Trust Network Access, ZTNA, and Software-Defined Wide Area Network, SD-WAN.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a lot of acronyms. It seems like SASE is the future of cybersecurity, a holistic approach that covers all the bases. But we'll dive deeper into those other SASE components in future episodes.
We will.
Right. Because with all these features and benefits, I'm starting to think that SWGs are less of a luxury and more of a necessity. In today's digital world,
I couldn't agree more. In a world where cyber threats are constantly evolving, an SWG is no longer a nice-to-have. It's a must-have for anyone serious about protecting their data and their digital lives.
it's like having a security system for your home. You wouldn't leave your doors unlocked, would you?
Of course not.
In the digital world, an SWG is like that lock on your digital door.
It is.
It's that first line of defense against the bad guys.
It is.
And it sounds like we're going to need that first line of defense more than ever as we move further into this digital age.
Absolutely. As our reliance on technology continues to grow, so too will the importance of cybersecurity solutions like SWGs.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot more informed about SWGs. They're really a fascinating and essential part of modern cybersecurity. But we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive already. Let's take a moment to recap some key takeaways, and then we'll come back for more.
Sounds good. You know, it's amazing how much we rely on the internet for just about everything these days, from banking and shopping to connecting with friends and family. But with all that convenience comes a whole lot of risk.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's like we're constantly walking this tightrope between convenience and security. One wrong step, and it's a long way down.
Exactly. And that's where secure web gateways come in. They act as that safety net, catching you before you fall victim to those digital dangers.
So let's do a quick recap. We've talked about how SWGs analyze web traffic in real time, blocking malicious websites, preventing malware downloads, and even using sandboxing to detonate those suspicious files safely.
Right. But SWGs are more than just a reactive barrier. They can also be proactive in protecting that sensitive information. That's where data loss prevention, or DLP, comes in.
Ah, yes, DLP. It's like having a watchful guardian that's always looking out for your data, making sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Can you give us an example of how that works in practice?
Sure. Imagine a scenario where an employee accidentally tries to email a confidential document to a personal email address. An SWG with DLP enabled can scan that outgoing email, identify the sensitive content, and block the transmission.
So it's like having a digital safety net that catches those accidental slips before they turn into major security breaches. That's pretty impressive.
It is, and it's becoming increasingly important as more and more businesses move their operations to the cloud. With data being accessed and shared from multiple devices and locations, it's more crucial than ever to have those safeguards in place.
And let's not forget about URL filtering, that powerful feature that helps control access to websites
Right.
based on company policies or even just common sense internet safety.
Absolutely. URL filtering is like having a built-in web filter that's constantly updated with the latest threats and can be customized to meet specific needs. You can block access to known phishing sites, malicious websites, or even just sites that are deemed inappropriate for the
So
workplace.
it's like having a personal internet bodyguard that keeps you from straying into those dangerous digital neighborhoods. That's a comforting thought.
It is. And it gives businesses and individuals alike greater control over their online experience.
And speaking of control, we touched upon Secure Access Service Edge, or SaaS, earlier. Can you remind us how SWGs fit into that larger security ecosystem?
Sure. SOC is like having a comprehensive security suite for your entire network, integrating multiple security solutions into a single cloud-delivered platform.
It's like having a team of cybersecurity superheroes working together to protect your digital world.
I like that analogy, and SWGs are a key member of that team, working alongside other solutions like Firewall as a Service, Cloud Access Security Broker, Zero Trust Network Access, and Software-Defined Wide Area Network.
Wow, that's a lot of acronyms. But it sounds like they all work together to create a powerful and comprehensive security strategy.
They do, and each of these solutions plays a specific role in protecting your network and data from various threats. But for now, let's focus on the superhero we're deep diving into today, SWGs.
Right, because even though they're part of a larger team, SWGs are powerful enough to stand on their own as a crucial line of defense in our digital world.
I completely agree. In today's threat landscape, you can't afford to be complacent about cybersecurity, and an SWG provides that extra layer of protection that can make all the difference.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, an SWG is no longer just a nice-to-have. It's a must-have for anyone who's serious about protecting their data and their online lives.
Absolutely. It's like having a security system for your home. You wouldn't leave your doors unlocked, would you?
Definitely not. And in the digital world, an SWG is like that lock on your digital door.
Exactly.
It's the first line of defense against the bad guys.
It is. And it's important to remember that these bad guys are getting more sophisticated all the time. They're constantly finding new ways to exploit vulnerabilities and steal your data.
It's like a constant game of cat and mouse, with the bad guys always trying to stay one step ahead.
That's why it's crucial to choose an SWG that can keep pace with these evolving threats. You need a solution that's constantly being updated and improved to stay ahead of the curve.
So how do you choose the right SWG for your needs? It seems like there are so many options available, it can be overwhelming to know where to start.
You're right. There are a lot of factors to consider. The size of your organization, the types of devices you use, your budget, and your specific security requirements all play a role in determining the best fit.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. You need to find the SWG that's the perfect fit for your unique situation. It's like finding the right pair of shoes. You need to consider your size, your style, and the type of activity you'll be doing.
That's a great analogy. And just like with shoes, there are different levels of quality and performance when it comes to SWGs. Some offer basic protection, while others provide more advanced features and capabilities. It all depends on your individual needs and risk tolerance.
So it's important to do your research and choose an SWG that can provide the level of protection you require.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There are plenty of resources available, such as security consultants and vendors, who can guide you through the process and help you choose the right SWG for your needs.
It's like having a personal shopper for cybersecurity. They can help you find the perfect SWG that fits your budget and your style. But with all this talk about features and benefits, it's easy to get lost in the technical details.
It's true. We can get caught up in the hows and the whats, but it's important to remember the why. Why should anyone care about SWGs? What's the bottom line for our listeners?
That's a great point. What is the bottom line? Why should people care?
At the end of the day, it all comes down to protecting your digital assets, whether it's your personal information, your business data, or your online reputation. You need to take steps to safeguard yourself in today's digital world. And SWG is a crucial step in that process.
It's like wearing a seatbelt when you drive a car. You might not need it every time you get behind the wheel, but it's there to protect you in case of an accident.
Exactly. And just like with a seatbelt, you hope you never have to rely on your SWG, but it's there to provide that extra layer of protection when you need it most.
So it's not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. It's about taking proactive steps to protect yourself from the ever-present threats lurking in the digital shadows.
Absolutely. In today's digital landscape, cybersecurity is no longer optional. It's a necessity. And SWGs are an essential part of that equation.
They're like the unsung heroes of cybersecurity, working tirelessly behind the scenes to keep us safe from the ever-growing threats lurking in the digital world. And as those threats continue to evolve, I imagine SWGs will continue to adapt and evolve right alongside them.
You're absolutely right. The future of cybersecurity is all about staying ahead of the curve. It's about anticipating threats and developing solutions that can keep pace with the ever-changing landscape.
So as we move further into this digital age, we can expect to see even more advanced and sophisticated SWG solutions emerge, providing even greater protection and peace of mind.
Exactly. The future of SWGs is bright, and it's exciting to think about all the ways they will continue to protect us in the years to come. But, all this talk about cybersecurity can make it seem like a daunting task, especially for those who aren't tech-savvy.
Right. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the technical jargon and complex concepts. Where do you even begin?
The most important thing is to start somewhere. Take that first step towards educating yourself about the threats and the solutions available.
It's like learning a new language. It might seem intimidating at first, but with a little effort, you can become fluent in cybersecurity.
I love that analogy. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are plenty of resources available to help you along the way.
So don't be afraid to dive in and learn more. Explore the world of cybersecurity and discover the tools and techniques that can empower you to stay safe online.
That's right. And remember, we're always here to help you along the way. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Yeah. But I'm curious to hear what mind-blowing facts or insights you have in store for us next. What's that one thing about SWGs that will really make our listener go, wow, I didn't know that? Okay, so we've talked about how SWGs are like these security guards of the internet.
Yeah.
Protecting us from all those nasty threats. But there's always more to discover. So what is it? What's that mind-blowing SWG fact that'll leave our listener in awe?
Well, what's fascinating is how SWGs are evolving beyond just reacting to those known threats. They're becoming more intelligent thanks to advancements in, artificial intelligence and machine learning. It's like they're developing a sixth sense for danger.
So it's not just about brute force blocking anymore. It's about predicting and outsmarting the bad guys before they can even launch an attack. That's incredible.
Absolutely. These advancements allow SWGs to analyze patterns, learn from past attacks, and even anticipate emerging threats.
Wow.
They can identify subtle anomalies in web traffic that might indicate a new type of malware or a sophisticated phishing campaign.
So it's like they're constantly evolving alongside the threat landscape, becoming smarter and more effective over time.
Exactly.
It's incredibly reassuring.
It is. And as these technologies continue to develop, we can expect SWGs to become even more powerful and intuitive. They'll be able to identify and neutralize threats with even greater precision and speed.
So it's like having a personal cybersecurity expert who's always learning and adapting to the latest threats. But let's bring it back to our listener for a second. They're clearly interested in cybersecurity. So how does all this impact their digital lives?
It means that SWGs are no longer just a tool for businesses or tech-savvy individuals. They're becoming essential for everyone who spends time online.
Yeah.
Think about it. We all have valuable data to protect, whether it's financial information, personal photos, or even just our online identities.
Right. It's like having a security system for your home. You wouldn't leave your doors unlocked.
Exactly.
In the digital world, an SWG is becoming just as important as locking your front door.
And it's not just about protecting ourselves from hackers. SWGs can also help us make smarter choices online. Think about parental controls or the ability to filter out inappropriate content. SWGs can empower us to create a safer and more personalized online experience.
So they're not just about security, they're about control.
Exactly.
They give us the power to shape our digital environment and protect ourselves from the things we don't want to see or experience.
As our lives become increasingly intertwined with the digital world, that control becomes more important than ever.
Well, I have to say, I'm feeling a lot more informed about SWGs now. They're clearly much more than just a simple firewall. They're like the guardians of the internet, constantly evolving to protect us from the ever-present dangers lurking in the digital shadows.
And the best part is, they're becoming more accessible and user-friendly all the time. You don't need to be a tech expert to benefit from the protection that an SWG can provide.
So what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with today? What's that final nugget of wisdom that will stick with them?
I want you to think about all the data you access online every day. Your bank accounts, your social media profiles, your emails, your photos. How confident are you in your current security measures?
Whoa, that's a powerful question. It really makes you stop and think about your online habits and whether you're doing enough to protect yourself.
Exactly. It's easy to get complacent, especially when everything seems to be working fine. But the reality is, cyber threats are constantly evolving, and we need to be prepared.
So what's the first step someone should take if they want to learn more about SWGs and how to choose the right one for their needs?
Start by doing some research. There are plenty of resources available online, including articles, reviews, and comparisons of different SWG providers.
Right, and don't be afraid to reach out to a cybersecurity expert or consultant for guidance.
Absolutely.
They can help you assess your specific needs and recommend solutions that are tailored to your unique situation.
Cybersecurity is a journey, not a destination. It's about staying informed, being proactive, and constantly adapting to the ever-changing threat landscape.
Well said. And that's what the deep dive is all about, giving you the knowledge and tools you need to navigate the complex world of technology and stay ahead of the curve. So to our listener out there, we hope this deep dive into secure web gateways has been enlightening and empowering.
We encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, stay safe out there in the digital world.
And as always, we're here to guide you every step of the way. So if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future episodes, don't hesitate to reach out. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay secure.